Good evening. It'll come on. We have the quirkiest sound system of any place you'll be, so just bear with us.
It happens. There it is. So my name is Jordan Benning, and I'm also pissed off. Bear with me. I'm going to attempt to not lose my temper.
Please.
I've had meetings here in this building to discuss the houseless community, to discuss the City Hall visual up front, and what was returned was absolutely nothing. The meetings that I had with people were for solutions so we could just live together. I slept in front of this building last year, and I'm not ever going to forget that. I'm not going to forget the police brutality and harassment, and I'm not going to forget the harassment from the people alone in this building. To try and find solutions, you wouldn't even allow pallets for people to get off of the freezing sidewalk. And that bothers me. And note that there are creative minds in this city that have been actively trying to work on the houselessness issue as a whole together. But nobody cared to listen. Nobody cared to listen to the people that have spent over 100 days in front of this building. This is class war. A doctor was brought up earlier who deserved the American dream. The houseless community at least deserves the right to shelter and safety. And R2D2 does that. Parking lot. Oh, my investments. Screw your parking lot and screw your investments. I do not care about no parking lot, and I don't care if anybody decides whether or not that they want to put $50 million into a new hotel. That disturbs me and boils my blood. The fact that you don't want to lose a parking lot when people are losing their life every single day. There are estimated 37,000 homeless people that die per year in the United States. There is not even enough homeless people in the United States to fill the empty homes or the empty buildings. We don't need no new buildings. We need to put the buildings, including the government buildings that we already have that are empty, to use. And we need to put the people in those buildings. Some of you may be familiar with the challenge some members of Congress and CEOs have taken on, trying to live off of food stamps, some less than $5 a day. I want the people here who oppose R2D2 to try living on the street for at least a week. Yeah. And I hope that they can escape the possible rape, the possible assault, the possible robbing, the possibilities of being jumped or even beat or even harassed by police officers in this city. Yeah. These are the dangers that living on the street are real. These are real dangers that living on the street brings. I want them to see if they can escape that and live through that. A liquor store was brought up here in the Pearl. That liquor store is not only one of the busiest, it's also one of the expensive. And I don't know if you know this, but the houseless community doesn't necessarily have enough money to go into one of the most expensive liquor stores in the damn city. Last, real quick, some of the success that has been brought up for R2D2. It not only has housed people and helped people get jobs, it lets people sleep in numbers. It's drug-free. It's weapon-free. And here's a quote for all you curlies that came out today. Go to Right to Dream 2's website. Look at their love notes. and look at their other sections. Here's a quote I have pulled off. They have more comprehensive strategy for preventing sexual assault within the community than any church I've ever been in. People want to talk about how women may be scared to go around there. I would feel safer sleeping there than anywhere else. The house, sorry, wrong page. Listening to all these bougie white people has made me want to rewrite my notes over and over and over again. And I can't even begin to touch on all the different idiotic, ideological differences that have been brought up. And to the people here in support of the curl that felt it was necessary to point, laugh, and judge the homeless people who have the courage to testify, simply, you're a shitty human and you don't deserve to live here. And that's all.
I'm Marco Lampson, and actually, I'll keep it short. I just want to say kind of two things majorly. One is just right to dream. Two is a very, very successful model. I think for politicians in a progressive city, I think by attacking this model, I think they're actually doing yourself a really big disservice. This model has been extremely cheap and efficient. An extremely good job at connecting people to resources, connecting people to jobs, giving them a place to sleep or rest so they can get their stuff together and be able to move forward in their lives. Now, in contrast, and cost of that, so like I said, it's very efficient cost. We're going to do about $15,000, $20,000 being our lawsuit, comparatively to the $47 million that you invested into the Arts Park. And the stories that have been continuously coming out of the Arts Park, people who work in the houses community or in houses themselves. It's the question of investment. If you're really going to be efficient with city funds, $47 million into a project comparatively to $15,000 into a project, and which one has been more successful at helping people and really turning people's lives around, I think it's something to really value. The second thing is let's actually address to you all because, well, it's directed to you all, but I think I've been hearing class warfare a couple of times, and I think it's embarrassing for me to hear class warfare talked to from Pearl District residents in condos to talk to houseless people about the class warfare they're doing, that these houseless people are doing to these residents, hypothetically. The idea that taking like the houseless community, one of the most dispossessed, one of the most powerless communities in Portland, right now is able to scrap its resources together and to produce a model that works. 2 years of it working, that is class warfare because they want to then move that location underneath the bridge. That is ridiculous to me in context to the class warfare that I would see, where you're saying 1% of your, your rental is going to go down, 1% of your property value is going to go down if the houseless entity next to you, hypothetically, 1%. 2% of your amount of total money that you're going to lose on this. And you're saying those folks are quantifying it to me, that money is worth that amount of loss of life. When you have people publicly say up here, like, I've been beat twice in 3 weeks, and right to survive is the only right to dream is the only thing that is done, because all the rest of the house, it is literally like when folks from Pearl talk really specifically about how their property values are going up based on, the houseless people, and at the same time you heard narratives coming out of our communities that say, we're dying on the streets. When you say money is worth it, more so than those people dying, that is class warfare. It's not our
Hi, my name is Jonathan Cobb, and I have sat here for the last few hours hearing the most privileged members of Portland talk about property values, people who have no property. Now, Right to Dream 2 is a group of houseless people who self-organized, pull themselves up by the bootstraps, which I thought was what poor people were supposed to do according to your ideology. But but now you're taking away their boots. Now, I don't necessarily think that the Pearl District is the best place for them. After all, if I were a member of Rights Agreement 2, I wouldn't want to move down and have lousy neighbors. But I think they're fine where they are. I think they'd be much better in, the multiple empty houses that they could easily live in if this capitalist system hadn't screwed them out of them.
Amen.
Now, yes, this is a temporary solution, as is any solution within the capitalist system. The people of the Pearl District always want to find some other compromise, want to find a compromise that doesn't insult their class privilege. Now, in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus said to his disciples, "As you've done unto the least of my brethren, you do unto me." I think that would be good to keep in mind for those who worship mammon. Now, I just want to say that I don't have any faith that any long-term solution can be reached through this process. But this I do believe. One day, a day of reckoning will come, when the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And you're damn right that's class warfare, because class is warfare.
Amen.
Good evening. My name is Judith Beck, and I'm a senior and I'm a citizen. I'm 73 years old. I've lived in Portland for 12 and a half years, and I want to speak out of compassion and love, acceptance for all the people who are here today who have been giving testimony, and gratitude because I'm a white, privileged woman who never slept on the street, who's never been hungry. I have everything I need. I've lived in the Pearl, and I know that in the building I lived in, one of the buildings I lived in, the tent I raised, there was a homeless woman living on my floor. I've never taken in anybody off the street, but a man took her in. I don't know why. Maybe not. I have friends who are homeless. They're out on the street. They've slipped in the rain. The gentleman has gone to the OHSU emergency room any number of times because he's so disabled. They go to the different services that people say we have in Portland that are going to draw for the homeless. And they can never get any money. None of the agencies have any more money left. They don't have any more money to help them with electric bills. And this couple that I know who live on the street did have a room, They were being exploited for $500+ a month for a room on a third floor walk-up. I was there, I saw it. There's exploitation going on here in this city. Of course, a rest area is not a permanent solution. But we have to do the Band-Aids as well as the systemic change. We need both ends. To put out a either-or solution, suggestion, choice, no, both ends. Long-term systemic solution so everyone has a shelter, a real house to live in, a real home to live in. But in the meantime, Dignity Village, Right to Dream 2, we need these. Tomorrow's the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, when his father challenged him to give up his God ways, I guess. Francis threw his clothes off and said, "Goodbye, Dad," and walked out onto the street, naked and homeless. That's what he did, and tomorrow's his feast day. So may he bless us and lead us to make the best decision we can make in this present situation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Amen.
We have James Gazelle.